So a little over a year ago, I was sitting in a mastermind group kvetching about how I don't make enough money. And one of the guys came up and he said, you know, it seems to me that you have a very niched market in your writing, that with only blogs and newsletters and articles and such, there ought to be a way to monetize that. And I said, what? Write a book called How to Be a Writer Without Writing a Book? And everybody in the room said, yeah. And with that brilliant fit, that brilliantly timed fit of sarcasm, a monster was born. Because I'm not an author. I don't want to write a book. The problem is the title kept plaguing me. It was in my head. It would not let me go. And so I didn't know what I was going to write, but I knew I had to do something. I talked to several coaches, and unfortunately they didn't tell me what to put in the book, as much as I wish they would have. But I got prodded and nudged and some suggestions and some questions, and I eventually came up with what I wanted. And what I wanted was a book that described the different types of writing that people do to make money that have nothing to do with being published. I also wanted to talk about the different types of editors, because for me, editing and writing are very intermatched. I wanted to discuss the difference between being a writer on staff for a company versus being an independent like myself. And I wanted to include a section for those people who might be thinking of hiring an editor or writer and let them know some things that they needed to know. So let's start. There are so many different types of writers, I cannot cover them all. For example, we've got advertising, humor, science, medical, speech writing, travel, technical, marketing, grants, resumes, and then my personal favorite, the explanatory writing. This is what I do. The problem is that this isn't really a category, I made it up. Explanatory writing is what I do. And what that means is after over 12 years documenting computer software that was not only used and appreciated, I was thanked for it. I know I explain things very well. And so when I went off and started to our writing services, instead of just explaining software engineers to non-engineers, what I do now is I explain experts for non-experts. Now, as I said, this is just a few examples of the different types of writing there are out there. And some of them overlap a little bit, but they're still all different. So if you are looking for humorous marketing copy and you hire a medical writer, you deserve what you get. Next, let's talk about editors. The first is the developmental editor. This is somebody you hire before you ever write a word, because this person helps you develop your story. Then you've got substantive. This is what I call a slash and burn editor. This is who you give your first draft to, because they're going to move, delete, rewrite, tell you something is missing, ask you what the hell you were talking about, so on and so forth. Then we have copy editors, and copy editors start pulling away from the big picture and start looking at more details. For example, copy editors at magazines and newspapers tend to also be fact checkers. Kind of an important detail. They also worry more about things like your grammar and your punctuation and your spelling and yada, yada, yada. Then we have line editors, also known as proofreaders, and I found this line in a blog. I use it all the time. The line editor is the anal retentive microsurgeon of the editing world. If we still worked in ink, this person would make sure that every I was dotted and every T crossed. So what do? I'm a slash and burn girl. If you don't want your work coming back covered in green ink with entire sections missing and questions that are quite seriously asking, what is the point? You don't want me as your editor, because that's what I will do. Lori Nichols, and I am a word nerd. And in this picture with my husband Rick is a girl who I hope you see all the time. When you see me, gosh, I practice this a ton and it never made me cry. But this is who I hope you see regularly. But keep an eye out for this one, because apparently I am an author too. Thank you very much.